Welcome to Pioneer Support, here to ensure you stay fix-it compliant and production efficient by answering your questions. Today's question is from Pioneer Grab Game 1828. They ask, do you think you could give me an example where a map ring like yours is more efficient or practical than having dedicated train lines for high rate trains? Absolutely. Yeah, but first, please like and subscribe. Failure to subscribe may result in reduced efficiency, increased spaghetti, and worst of all, disappointing Wilbur. So please subscribe. Also, if you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to answer them in a future video. And if you want to get my 5 years worth of Satisfactory maps and blueprints, go to patreon.com/pioneer support. So the fundamental question you're asking is, when do you do the ring, when do you not? And my answer to that is things that are absolutely critical to work perfectly all the time should have a dedicated rail line. Everything else, put it on a circuit because, worst case, it'll be the occasional drop in efficiency. But if that's happening and it doesn't, it's not something that's going to turn the power off, right? Or fundamentally break some, phase objective, like creating, nuclear pasta or something, then it's okay. So, we get to the point where you have a lot of facilities around the map. That's when you want to start making the circuit. Yes, it does take some time. Yes, it does pay dividends because the minute you've made that sort of large train network, you can tap into it from anywhere, right? You just do a spoke to the rim, which is your outside network, from wherever you need to go. As you can see here, there's 3 spokes right up there. Let's see if I can get you a little better view. And those go inland on the map. This one actually feeds that nuclear power facility there. And I think that one goes farther into bauxite, if I recall correctly. But, let me show you also a situation where you don't want to use the rim. So here we have an example where the trains that provide the compacted coal and the sulfur to make compacted coal for this fuel power plant are not on a rim. They're literally isolated from everything else. And the reason for that is if this system of of train stations and materials, fails, then the power goes down and everything stops. So, in this case, there's no reason to put this on a rim. It would be wildly, hard to diagnose problems because if you have a lot of trains on your rim, that's going to affect timing a lot for this kind of stuff. So yeah, this is literally done. There's one train that goes from there to there, back and forth, and there's another train from there to here that goes back and forth. It's relatively bulletproof. It overfills the compacted coal here. Again, overfilling is the way to go. I don't see the reason to try to make it perfectly, efficient. You need 1,013 of them on one side. You're making 1,013 on the other. So yeah, so that's the one exception to this rule. Now, I will say the more trains you get on your rim, the more likely it is you're going to need to have more product in each train because it may take them longer to get there. So yeah, there is the issue where if you add one more train onto your network, you might find all of a sudden you have supply shortages in different places. That can happen. I haven't had it happen frequently. Usually it's with materials that are already being made in small quantities and should have been upgraded anyway. But that's kind of it. So, use dedicated rail lines for things that are mission critical. That to me is power. And everything else, put it on a rim and spoke network. So I hope this was helpful for you. Please like and subscribe. I do really appreciate it. It helps the channel keep going. And look, if you have a question, ask it in the comments. I'd be happy to answer it. Also, if you want to get my 5 years worth of maps and blueprints, go to patreon.com/pioneer support. Till next time.